Melissa Gilbert has finally spoken out about the long-circulating rumors surrounding her personal life. Born Melissa Ellen Gilbert on May 8, 1964, in Los Angeles, California, she was adopted shortly after birth by actor and comedian Paul Gilbert and his wife, Barbara Crane, who was both a dancer and an actress. From day one, creativity was in her blood, and the entertainment world became her natural home. Even as a child, Melissa showed a spark that couldn't be ignored. She started acting professionally at a very young age, landing spots in commercials and small television roles before many kids even learned to read. There was something special about her, an honesty and emotion that came through in every performance. That raw talent would soon define her career and make her one of television's most beloved stars. Everything changed for Melissa Gilbert in 1974 when at just 9 years old she landed the role that would define her career. She was cast as Laura Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie, inspired by the treasured books of Laura Ingalls Wilder. The show quickly became a staple of American family television, and Melissa's performance captured hearts everywhere. She brought Laura's curiosity, strength, and determination to life in a way that felt real and unforgettable. Week after week, viewers watched Laura grow from a bright-eyed frontier girl into a strong and thoughtful young woman, and at the same time they saw Melissa grow up on screen too. The role challenged her to express deep emotions and tackle complex themes like hardship, resilience, and moral strength with a maturity far beyond her years. Melissa rose to the challenge with an impressive level of maturity, delivering performances that still touch audiences decades later. Working side by side with Michael Landon, who played her on-screen father, Charles Ingalls, and also guided much of the show's creative direction, she didn't just grow as an actress, she evolved into a true storyteller. Michael Landon became more than a co-star. He was a mentor who taught her the importance of discipline, emotional truth, and how powerful television could be in connecting with people's hearts. The bond Melissa built with the cast and crew of Little House on the Prairie became like an extended family, one that shaped her personally and professionally. Even after the show wrapped in 1983, the legacy of the series and Melissa's unforgettable place in it remained just as strong. For fans across the globe, Laura Ingalls wasn't just a TV character, she felt like a real friend growing up. Melissa Gilbert's portrayal came to symbolize warmth, courage, and authenticity that touched millions of hearts. But when the cameras stopped rolling, her journey was far from simple. Transitioning from a beloved child star into a respected adult actress is never easy, and Melissa faced that challenge head-on with determination. After Little House on the Prairie, she pushed herself to explore new roles and prove her range as an artist. She worked in television, theater, and numerous made-for-TV films, each one revealing another layer of her talent. One standout performance came in The Miracle Worker, where she took on the demanding role of Helen Keller, a part that highlighted her emotional strength and her fearless dedication to powerful storytelling. On stage, Melissa discovered a whole new sense of artistic freedom. Theater gave her the space to break away from the wholesome image that audiences had connected her with for years, allowing her to show deeper, more complex sides of her craft. Each performance became a fresh opportunity to reinvent herself and remind the world that her talent reached far beyond one iconic role. But behind the spotlight, Melissa's life wasn't without hardship. Growing up in constant public view brought intense pressure, and she's been open about facing moments of uncertainty and emotional struggle. Instead of keeping those experiences private, she chose to share them with honesty and courage. Her openness became a form of healing, not just for herself but for others who related to her story. By speaking truthfully about her journey, Melissa broke the illusion of the perfect child star and showed that growth and self-acceptance can come from even the toughest challenges. Beyond her work as an actress, Melissa Gilbert also made her mark behind the scenes in Hollywood. From 2001 to 2005, she served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild, one of the youngest people ever to take on that role. During her time in leadership, she became known as a passionate and clear voice for performers' rights, speaking up for artists as the entertainment world faced major changes and new challenges. Her approach to leadership came from empathy and first-hand experience. Having grown up in the industry, she understood exactly how tough it could be for young performers trying to find their footing in such a demanding environment. Melissa's personal journey unfolded publicly too, showing the world a woman shaped by both early fame and real-life lessons. Through it all, she balanced her drive for artistic integrity with her deep care for others in the industry, a rare mix that made her influence impossible to ignore. Melissa Gilbert's teenage years drew plenty of attention from both fans and the media. As one of the brightest young stars of her generation, her personal life often became headline news. During that time, she was linked to two rising Hollywood names, Tom Cruise and Rob Lowe, connections that have since become a memorable part of entertainment history. Already famous from Little House on the Prairie, Melissa suddenly found herself right in the middle of young Hollywood. Those early relationships, though short-lived, gave her a first-hand look at the excitement and challenges that come with dating in the spotlight. They also helped shape her emotional growth, teaching her about love, heartbreak, and the balance between personal life and public attention. These early experiences quietly prepared her for the complex world of relationships that would follow later in her life. On February 22, 1988, Melissa Gilbert took a major step in her life when she married actor and producer Beau Brinkman. After spending so many of her formative years on television sets rather than in a traditional home environment, she was ready for stability and a sense of normal life away from the spotlight. Beau, who also understood the ups and downs of Hollywood, seemed to be someone who could share that dream with her. Their marriage represented a big turning point for Melissa, marking her move from child star to grown woman, ready to create her own family and future. Together they welcomed their son Dakota Paul Brinkman, a moment that changed her life forever. Becoming a mother gave Melissa a renewed sense of purpose, love, and balance that fame could never match. It grounded her deeply and helped her see what truly mattered beyond the glitz of the entertainment world. Even with all their shared dreams and the joy of raising their son, Melissa Gilbert and Beau Brinkman's marriage eventually began to face challenges. After 4 years together, the couple made the difficult decision to part ways in 1992. The separation was emotional for both, but Melissa stayed focused on co-parenting their son Dakota and ensuring he grew up in a loving, supportive environment. A few years later, Melissa opened her heart to love once again. On January 4, 1995, she married actor Bruce Boxleitner, a familiar face in both television and film. Bruce brought a steady sense of experience and understanding that complemented Melissa's own journey through Hollywood and life in the public eye. Their marriage marked a new beginning, a fresh, hopeful chapter filled with shared creativity, mutual respect, and the promise of something lasting and real. Later that same year, on October 6, 1995, Melissa Gilbert and Bruce Boxleitner welcomed their son Michael into the world. The name carried deep personal meaning. It was a loving tribute to Michael Landon, the man who had played her father on Little House on the Prairie and had also been a guiding influence in her real life. For Melissa, the choice was more than sentimental. It was a way to honor someone who had shaped her both as an actress and as a person. Michael Landon's impact went far beyond their time on screen together. He helped Melissa develop confidence, strong values, and a true sense of what family means. Naming her son after him was her heartfelt way of keeping that bond alive, a symbol of gratitude and respect. For a while, Melissa and Bruce built a warm, blended family rooted in shared love, understanding, and appreciation for the people who had shaped their lives. As time went on, new challenges began to surface in Melissa Gilbert and Bruce Boxleitner's marriage. Balancing busy careers, parenting, and personal growth proved more difficult than either expected, and slowly the relationship began to drift apart. On August 22, 2011, Melissa officially filed for divorce, marking the end of their long partnership. The split was deeply emotional, but she faced it with honesty and strength. In the years that followed, Melissa spoke candidly about the pain of that chapter and the important lessons it taught her about self-worth and perseverance. Through it all, she stayed committed to her children and focused on rebuilding her life with confidence and grace. Then, love found her once again. On April 24, 2013, she married actor and director Timothy Busfield, opening the door to a new and inspiring phase of her life filled with renewed happiness and peace. Melissa Gilbert and Timothy Busfield's wedding was a quiet, heartfelt celebration held at the beautiful San Ysidro Ranch in Santa Barbara, California. Surrounded by nature and calm, the intimate setting perfectly reflected who they were as a couple, private, grounded, and full of genuine affection. Both Melissa and Timothy had been married before, and each brought children into their new life together, forming a blended family built on real understanding and shared experience instead of idealized expectations. Their relationship stood out for its honesty, respect, and deep emotional connection. Both had faced life's ups and downs, and that maturity shaped the strong bond they shared. However, by mid-January 2026, Melissa once again found herself in the spotlight, this time facing one of the most difficult public moments of her life. Reports began surfacing about renewed tension surrounding her private life, and soon those personal matters became the focus of national media attention. For decades, Melissa Gilbert had been admired as a symbol of kindness, resilience, and integrity, an image that began with her unforgettable role as Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie, and grew stronger through her advocacy work and honest memoirs. But the events of early 2026 were unlike anything she had faced before. This time, the attention wasn't about her career, her health, or her public work. It was about her private life, and it struck close to home. According to reports from multiple U.S. media outlets, on January 9, 2026, a warrant was allegedly issued in New Mexico involving her husband, actor and director Timothy Busfield. The news came as a shock to fans and the entertainment community, quickly sparking widespread discussion online. While details remained limited, the situation placed Melissa in an unexpected and highly emotional spotlight that tested her trademark strength and composure. According to publicly available law enforcement statements at the time, reports surfaced alleging that Timothy Busfield was under investigation in connection with serious misconduct claims said to have taken place during the filming of a television project. The claims, which reportedly involved minors, immediately drew widespread attention due to their sensitive nature and the timeline described in the allegations. Authorities stated that legal action had been initiated through the Albuquerque Police Department, though no further verified details were made public at that stage. The seriousness of the situation sparked intense discussion throughout the entertainment world and among longtime fans. For Melissa Gilbert, who had dedicated much of her life to supporting causes related to children's welfare and integrity in the industry, the reports were deeply distressing. She suddenly found herself caught in a storm of speculation surrounding allegations that conflicted with the very principles she had long stood for. In a public statement attributed to Melissa Gilbert, she expressed her deep emotional distress over the situation, reportedly saying, "I am shocked, heartbroken, and struggling to comprehend the weight of what has been alleged." At the same time, she stressed the importance of fairness and due process, adding, "These are allegations, not conclusions, and the legal system must be allowed to do its work." Her calm yet heartfelt words reflected both pain and a commitment to letting justice take its course. According to several reports, the inquiry involving Timothy Busfield was said to have begun after information was shared with authorities in late 2024, leading to a quiet investigation that continued for months before becoming public. Representatives for Busfield publicly denied the allegations, describing them as unfounded and claiming they originated from personal disputes. As the story unfolded, both the legal process and public attention intensified, leaving many waiting for verified updates while maintaining respect for all parties involved. After the young performers were reportedly released from the production, Melissa Gilbert spoke publicly with careful composure, saying, "I am not a judge, and I cannot pretend to know all the facts. What I do know is that this situation is deeply painful for everyone involved." Her statement reflected empathy and restraint during an incredibly tense and emotional time. As the story continued to develop, professional repercussions soon followed. NBC announced that it would postpone the airing of an episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit in which Timothy Busfield appeared, citing respect and sensitivity given the nature of the reports. Many observers noted the irony of the situation, considering the show's themes, and even Gilbert herself acknowledged how difficult and symbolic the timing felt. The entire moment served as a reminder of how swiftly real life and public perception can collide in the world of entertainment. Melissa Gilbert reportedly described the experience as feeling like watching your life fracture in real time, piece by piece. On January 12, several outlets reported that authorities had been unable to make contact with Timothy Busfield for several days after the warrant was issued, leading the U.S. Marshals Service to assist in the effort to locate him. The reports sparked widespread media speculation, with many questioning not only his whereabouts but also how Gilbert was coping through the ordeal. In response, Melissa addressed the public directly, stating, "I have cooperated fully and transparently. I have nothing to hide, and I will not obstruct justice in any way." Her words reflected calm and accountability amid growing attention. When Busfield later turned himself in to authorities on January 13, the case moved into a new stage, one that brought deep emotional weight for Gilbert. It wasn't closure, but rather a difficult turning point in an already painful and highly public chapter of her life. Melissa Gilbert made it clear that her husband's decision to turn himself in did not bring her peace or closure, reportedly saying, "It simply means that the process begins in earnest." She also voiced concern for anyone who might have been affected, stating, "If children have been harmed, they deserve protection, compassion, and truth above all else." Her words reflected empathy and restraint at a time when public emotion was running high. In addressing the rumors about her private life, Melissa chose not to respond with anger or dramatics. Instead, she presented herself as a person facing an overwhelming situation with honesty and quiet strength. "I am navigating this as a wife, a mother, and a human being," she said, before adding, "I ask for privacy, restraint, and empathy for all families affected by this, including my own." As legal proceedings continued, her response remained calm and respectful, focused on accountability, compassion, and the hope for truth to come forward in time. As the weeks passed, public attention surrounding the case remained intense, but Melissa Gilbert began quietly stepping back from the spotlight. She reduced her social media presence and limited public appearances, choosing instead to focus on family and personal reflection. Friends and colleagues described her as resilient but deeply affected, noting that her priority had shifted toward protecting her loved ones and finding emotional stability amid the uncertainty. By early 2026, Melissa Gilbert's story had shifted from immediate headlines to thoughtful public discussion. Commentators began re-examining her legacy, not just as a beloved actress but as a figure who had endured decades of personal and professional trials with grace. Throughout it all, her voice remained calm and measured, a reminder that even those raised in the limelight are human and vulnerable to life's unexpected turns. In interviews conducted later, Gilbert shared that she was focusing on creative projects close to her heart, writing, producing, and advocating for causes centered on compassion, honesty, and recovery. Though she rarely spoke about the ongoing legal case, her words carried quiet wisdom born from experience. "We don't always get to choose the storms we face," she reportedly said, "but we can choose how we move through them." Her resilience once again became her defining trait. Whether in moments of triumph or turmoil, Melissa Gilbert continued to represent courage, self-reflection, and an unwavering commitment to living with truth and empathy. In the end, Melissa Gilbert's story reminds us of a powerful truth: no matter how public a person's life may be, no one is immune to private heartbreak. Through it all, she's shown that sometimes the greatest courage comes from meeting the unknown with honesty, patience, and quiet strength. Her journey is a reflection of resilience, humanity, and the will to keep moving forward, even when the world is watching. If you found this story meaningful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who follow classic Hollywood stories. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take on Melissa Gilbert's remarkable life. And as always, swing by for more powerful stories next time. See you in the next one.